What's up, guys? Welcome back to Ranting with Wrenches. So today, we're going to be talking about who's gonna rule the market. What world?
The tuna world.
All right. Who's gonna rule the market? Tuna world.
The tuna world market.
Close. All right. Who's gonna rule the tuna's market in the next 5 years? So basically, for this episode, I'm giving you my opinion first. So, who's gonna, have the, the upkeep of the market and everything from what I see, and Rich is gonna give you more of a facts standpoint of the research he did, and see if I'm somewhere near close to what he put down on his notes. So in my opinion, the first company that I would say is going to be relevant in the market is Honda. I say that from a standpoint from Honda was one of the first tuna cars or tuna company that people really started to modify from like the 90s. So, and they're more cheaper on the standpoint because we have to remember a lot of the market or the people in the market is young. So every young person is going to be steered to Honda first compared to any other brand because they're more of a higher class.
Yeah.
And that's
well,
where
not even maybe not a higher class, but they have a bigger reach.
Yeah.
Because of their affordability.
Exactly.
You can get a Honda at any level, especially nowadays. They have the VTEC in pretty much every level of engine.
Yeah, you can find one for $500. You can find one for $100.
You can get hatch, you can get sedan, you can get coupe, you can get a regular, you can get like a SUV.
Yep. Easy to work on, easy to do, motor swaps. It's like a learner's car, basically. The next company I would say that might be relevant, I would say like Subaru, seeing that they're still coming out with their manual line of cars. Even 5 years from now, you still got the older model, you still got the blah blah, you still got the Hawkeye, you still got all the other models they got out there. It's crazy. I do see them, even now they still coming out, with the new stuff. What else?
You don't think they're falling off a little bit by throwing like CVTs into some versions? Like I believe the WRXs are gonna have a CVT option.
That I do. That's why I said kinda. Because I'm not sure what direction they're going in, but
because I feel like if you have to now choose between a regular, let's say a WRX, right? Someone who wants the performance but can't afford the STI level, and let's say they go for a test drive, and they're like, "Why am I going to pay extra money for now a WRX badge with regular Impreza performance? Why am I even going to bother?" I think that there's a danger of that segment being killed off.
Yeah, it's true. It is. I don't know. It's one of those things that you have to just wait and see. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they like the hot stuff. You know what I mean? They don't tell you exactly what they're gonna do until it comes out.
Yeah. Subaru is they're probably one of the more secretive brands until they know where they're going. Unless you're doing like a collab, like the collab they've done with Toyota, or even back, I want to say maybe mid to late 90s, where they did a collab with Saab, when you had the Subaru,
yeah.
which actually was, I thought was a pretty good car motor wise until you started getting to the exterior mechanics with Saab, which is trash. So you got one more?
I will put two more companies that I would say is actually making their cars better in like the market, and they're
Okay.
coming out with like new lines and stuff. I would go with like Hyundai, and I would actually go with Toyota. I say those because Hyundai, you know, they're coming out with the whole new N line, which is good performance from what I'm reading. And I watched a couple of their videos.
You always gotta be careful with the word line in there.
Yeah.
You always gotta be careful with that because you got Audi with their S line, you know what I mean, or BMW with their M line. So you have some aspects or the looks of performance, but it's not really performance.
Yeah. But they're coming out with stuff that's, you know, how you say it?
They're starting to push the boundaries of
friendly
performance.
Yeah, friendly performance.
They're like, you know, mom and dad can get in there, have a
Yeah.
little spirited drive every once in a while.
Yeah.
That you don't have to worry about. You
Can't
know,
forget about old people.
yeah.
You know how they
Hey,
go.
sometimes grandma wants to, you know, test
300
her
series.
blood pressure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
I
get
know.
a 300 series. They think they speed races and stuff. But
See grandma drifting around the corner.
but Toyota's the same thing. What's their new line?
Gazoo Racing.
That and what is it? Audi race development something.
Oh no, it's so
Uh,
Toyota's new line. So they still have the TRD division, which is Toyota Racing
Yeah.
division.
Toyota racing.
Which has a little bit more to do with their baseline products. And I think what they're doing is now for the high performance version, they are transitioning to Gazoo Racing. So if you go on the Toyota website, you will see the Gazoo Racing squad with 2 vehicles in particular under that flag.
And that was with the Toyota Yaris thing.
The Toyota Yaris. So with that, I'm going to transition to mine. And your last one is where I went with Toyota.
Okay.
So, and because of the Gazoo Racing platform that they're building up. So if you go on their websites, under the Gazoo Racing on vehicles to come, you see the Yaris and you see the Supra. So, and they're going to have a couple different engines, transmissions going for that. For the Supra, they have a turbo and a non-turbo inline 6. And for the Yaris, they're going to have a 1.5, I believe, inline 3. And then they have a 1.6 liter turbo inline 3 engine. Now, the one that is the most exciting and extremely interesting is the 1.6 liter turbo with the inline 3 engine, which has a built-in cooling spray system based around the WRC. That one, however, as far as I understand, will not be available in the States.
Those do that.
Yeah. They will have a direct shift CVT that's going to be coming out, which I'm curious to see how that works because CVT transmissions aren't really known for their responsiveness. Exactly. So, but if there's one company that is willing to put the time and the effort to figure out how to make the most out of the most efficient product, it's Toyota. 6-speed. They'll also have a 6-speed manual transmission option, which I believe will be on the 1.5, and the direct shift will be on the 1.6, and then you will have the available all-wheel 4-wheel drive. It doesn't say all-wheel drive. Available 4-wheel drive. So, which means it's not going to be running all the time. It's going to kick on when you need it.
That's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing. But you get that little car, and you start driving around back roads, and you lift it up, you start trying to kick it sideways and slide around a little bit, and that four-wheel drive only kicks on when your foot's on the gas. So, but you see them investing time, money, effort into reminding people what they can do. You know what I mean? Because, you know, if you look, the Mark IV Supra is skyrocketing in prices now. Absolutely skyrocketing. Like, idiotically expensive. You know what I mean? So, you know, if you go back in days, the Celica was a really popular car. You know what I mean? The Celica was a really good car. It was competition for Nissan's 240 line. You know what I mean? For the 180 and the 240 SX, and even the Sylvia, before they did some weird looking thing that, you know, when they tried their sports shift technology and it just wasn't fast at all. But if they continue to go in that direction, because now you see they've done a TRD package with the Camry.
Yeah.
Granted, it's pretty much only aesthetics and suspension.
Mm-hmm.
There's no additional power to it, but that could potentially be the beginning of something more if people buy it, if people keep paying more and more attention to it. And you gotta
but those play a big role in performance too.
No, yeah, they do.
You know, don't forget. Don't just think engine swaps and turbos and all that play everything.
Yeah.
Suspension,
the longevity. You know, Toyota is one of those brands where you do a timing belt change 2 times in the time that you own it, and you could easily see 200,000 miles. You know what I mean? Those things last forever. I mean, if anybody's familiar with Toyotas, you don't have to replace parts very often. They're expensive when you do because you're replacing it once every 10 years. Now, of course, you're going to have your issues every once in a while. It is a product line vehicle. Anything that comes off of a product line, you're going to have issues from time to time. Even Mercedes-Benz has issues. I mean, look at Range Rover. They can't keep a car together to save their life. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you buy a Discovery, it costs you $80,000. You know what I mean? So, but I think Toyota, like you mentioned, Honda, they are starting to get back into the mindset of reminding people what they're capable of.
Yeah.
Especially with Chevy, Ford, even Dodge is kind of on their way out with the whole performance stuff. You know what I mean? They're just trying to throw whatever they can into whatever they need to, because the market is starting to kind of change
the only thing
into
they have now is
electric.
The Dodge Charger. I think those are gonna stay. Dodge Charger and Challenger. Maybe the Challenger will stay, but not the Dodge Charger. Eventually.
I don't think the Challenger is gonna stay. The Charger, I do believe, is gonna stay only because it's got multiple tiers of people that it can appeal to, and you know its base is rear wheel drive. You know what I mean? You pay a little bit extra to get the all wheel drive, and then if you really want performance, then you get like the Scat Pack and stuff like that, with the 392. You know what I mean? Or then even maybe the Hellcat, which I don't think they're gonna do anymore. Or maybe that's for the Challenger. The Challenger, I think they're done with the Hellcat, and they're done with the Demon. So, no, but I mean, I think with the American brands pretty much abandoning everything but the SUV market, it's given this gaping hole for Honda, Subaru, Toyota. Even if they wanted to and they really invested the time and the effort into it again, Mitsubishi could come back and do something, but they're taking all the good names and throwing them onto SUVs and crossovers. But like you said, Hyundai, you know what I mean? Hyundai and Kia are doing some interesting things to keep an eye on. I don't like where they've gone with the Sonata and the K5. I think it's the K500, where you have this really strong motor putting out like what's it? I think it's like 211 torque and like no.
What, the Sonata motor?
Yeah, like the Sonata and the K500, which are the same thing. I think it's like, was it 211 horse?
It was like what? No, it was like 206.
206?
Yeah.
So around the 200 horsepower threshold and above 200 in torque. But it's an open diff system. So it's not putting the power down on command. Once you're going, it's fine. You know what I mean? And that right there shows you they're still trying to appeal to mom and dad.
Yeah.
and the start-off drivers, by not having that system that puts the power down, you're gonna lose customers that way. You know what I mean? But they still build things like the Kia Stinger. The Kia Stinger,
yeah. I heard that's a
Kia Stinger is on another level. It's not your typical Kia. You know what I mean? And you got a range. You got two inline fours, one without turbo, front wheel drive and all wheel drive. Mm-hmm. Then you got the V6. You got I believe it's the 3 liter non-turbo, and the 3.3 liter twin turbo, which comes with either front wheel drive or all wheel drive.
Those things are class.
Yes, like they're really good. They're really good, and people that are driving them are pleasantly surprised. Now, don't get me wrong; they're not on the level of like a Porsche or anything like that, or some of the brands that have been around for a long time, because they still have their base that they need to appeal to. But when you put it up against the likes of like an Audi A6, which is also a V6 twin turbo, you know what I mean? That it's like, oh, I can get the same performance, maybe a little bit more reliability, for 40,000 versus for 65,000. You know what I mean? Still very nice interior, an enjoyable drive, stuff like that. And I don't have to drive an hour away to my near Audi dealership. I can drive 35 minutes away to my local Kia dealership.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And they have pretty good reliability.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Price is going to play, a big thing in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yep. Especially where nowadays you have a lot of companies that are kind of weighing the options of, okay, how much are we really putting into this car because people aren't buying it.
And that's why a lot of them die off.
Exactly. And then you got other brands that are still trying to meet the level of the established brands. They're throwing more and more into their cars, whether people buy it or not, showing what they're capable of. You know what I mean? Even, dare I say, Lexus coming out with the new IS 500.
What?
We'll talk about that later.
All right, guys. So you got basically my opinion. I just gave you a wide range of different companies or whatever. Just my thoughts on if there will be any market for them in the future. But I got close to what he said. Toyota, Honda.
Yep. Yeah. Mainly the Toyota.
Yeah,
I'm really keeping my eye on more so with the Gazoo Racing team and the Gazoo Racing products that are going to be coming out. I'm really interested in that.
It's always nice to see new stuff coming out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Rich gave you his thoughts on Toyota,
Yep.
which is really good.
Yep. So I mean, go and check them out and see what you guys think. If there's any company that we did not mention that you think is going to make some moves in the next 5 years, leave it down in the comment section. Like, subscribe, share, turn on the alerts, help us reach more heads. And as always, Wrench Daily.